Hey everybody, how are you? So I just want to come on here and talk about something that kind of came to me as I was like waking up this morning. You know, a lot of really good, like, important downloads and ideas come to me when I'm just first waking up. And it kind of continued to develop itself while I was exercising just now, actually just finished. And yeah, so this thought kind of solidified itself as I was working out, and so I just wanted to come on and share with you what I was thinking, because I think this is really important. And I think it's something that we all do way more than we need to, and it's costing us a lot more than we realize. And I think that's the point that I really want to make here, is that when we're caught in that mindset, like I'm talking about, maybe you read the description, maybe not, but I'm talking about that idea of shoulding ourselves. You know, maybe you've heard me say it, maybe you've heard other people say it, like, stop shoulding all over yourself. Like, it's this mindset that we get into about all the things we should do, right? Should do the homework, should do this, should do that, should drive the kids, should clean the house, should do the exercise, should, all these things we should do, right? And I mean, one thing that keeps coming through, and like, this isn't new to me, but why? Like, why should we? What is the actual benefit that we're getting out of this? And is that really the only way to do it? Because if we should do something, more often than not, it's something we don't actually want to do. It's not something that is like so bubbling up through our heart and soul that we're so excited about doing it that we just can't wait to get it done. You know what I mean? Like, if that's how we feel about it, then we're not in a mindset of, oh, I really should, blah, blah, blah. We're like, yes, I'm going to do this right now, and nothing can stop us, right? So we're just hell-bent on it. We're lit up. Our soul is on fire. We're completely impassioned about it, and we're going for it. But when we're in that place of should, I really should do this, I really should start dinner, I really should pay the bills, I really should blah blah blah, it's a place of, like, we're not lit up. We're not coming from a place of passion. We're not coming from a place of soul. We're not coming from a place of excitement and I just can't wait. And most important of all, we're not coming from a place of, I'm so full up with love for myself and what's going on around me and the choices that I'm making and the actions that I'm taking, that it's spilling out over me in, you know, onto all of the people around us. So, and I think, like, on the one hand, we recognize that, you know, we'll do the action, we'll push ourselves, we'll force ourselves, we'll get it done so that we can kind of check it off the list. Do you know what I mean? So we're kind of like we'll push ourselves and get it through and get it done. But it's, what am I trying to say here? It's like, there's no oomph behind it. There's no passion behind it. And we kind of grumble and, you know, are annoyed through the whole way. So, you know, it costs us that time that we have to take to get through it, right? And we probably most definitely are throwing some negative thoughts onto there as we're getting through it, and we're kind of, you know, going, you know, so it's costing us the negative thoughts that we're taking through the action with us, right? Because we all know, you've heard me say it a million times, our thoughts create our reality, right? So if we're pushing ourselves to get through the shoulds and we're bringing our negative thoughts with us, then we're invariably introducing more negative thoughts and putting momentum behind those negative thoughts. So we're costing ourselves that. We're costing ourselves the opportunity to release some of those negative thoughts, to attract some positive thoughts. So we're costing ourselves that. But energetically, aside from the thoughts and like the actual hours on the clock or minutes on the clock that it takes us to get through this, we're like, there's this giant energy leak when we're engaged in activity that we should do. a giant energy leak, right? It's like driving around with your tires halfway inflated, right? Your gas mileage is all off. It puts wear and tear on your tires. It's like the whole situation is a nightmare. It takes you longer to get where you're going to go, blah, blah, blah. So when we're shoulding ourselves, think about this too, right? When there's something you should do, how much time do you put into actually talking yourself into doing it, right? So there's more minutes on the clock that you're spending that you don't need to be spending. And it's a giant, massive, major energy leak while you're talking yourself into it, right? So it's not just the cost of doing the activity that we quote unquote should do. It's the energetic cost. It's the energy leak. It's the minutes on the clock leak. Like, it's a really expensive place to be in that place of, yeah, I should, right? It's costing us so much more than just getting through the chore of cleaning the toilet or driving the kid or doing the distance learning or making the dinner or whatever it is. I don't know, like whatever it is in your life. Those are things that it could be in my life. But so it's so much more than that. So what do we do, right? So then what's the answer? Because honestly, if you're really living from a place of soul, if you're really connecting to your soul, if you're really honoring self-love and you're really making that a priority, then the shoulds, we need to be able to release those. We need to be able to let go of those, not just because they're such an energy drain, they're so costly to us energetically, but because they're really preventing us from moving forward and living a life that's really a lot more joyful and more aligned with the way that it really should be. So what do you do? Like, there's a couple options. Obviously, one, if it's, and you'll have to go case by case, right? There's no hard and fast rule, but one, take it off the list. Just like, I should, but I don't want to, and I'm not gonna. I do that a lot, a lot. Yeah, this needs to get done, but I don't want to. I'm just not gonna do it. And invariably, one of two things happens. Either it will get done, one of three things happens. Either it will get done by somebody else. I'll realize ultimately that it never needed to actually be done. That was just a story I was telling myself. So that's the second option. Or number three, of when I'm in a better place of alignment and my energy is more lined up and I'm really, my sort of vessel is full and overflowing and I'm really coming from that place of deep self-love, then I don't mind doing it. It's not a should anymore. Does that make sense? So just not doing it, like, or just choosing, like, no, that doesn't light me up. That does not set my soul on fire. I'm just not doing that. That's always an option. And then, like I just said, either somebody else will do it. You'll realize it never needed to be done, or you'll find yourself later on in a place of alignment and better able to attempt that task. The other option is, the other choice you have besides not doing it at all is getting yourself into a place of alignment, talking, like finding your alignment and then going ahead to do it. And it's not just waiting until you get into alignment, but it's intentionally finding your alignment so that you can be in alignment and tackle that should. Does that make sense? So you're intentionally getting yourself back into alignment so that you can tackle the task. That's kind of a hack. Like, it's not the ideal way to do it, but it works and it's a possibility, and it's always a lot better than pushing through it when you haven't taken the time to intentionally get into alignment with whatever it is you should do. And an example of what that might look like, getting into alignment intentionally to do the should, would be, for example, this is pretty rudimentary, but like, if you have, if you should be doing the dishes, if you should do the dishes because they're sitting there, they're dirty, they've been there for a while, they need to get done, it's driving you crazy every time you walk in the kitchen, you get annoyed about it, but you really don't feel like it, like you really just genuinely don't feel like it, then you're going to take a few minutes, you're going to kind of ground yourself with some deep breaths, maybe close your eyes, maybe just sit for 30 seconds or 60 seconds and do some breath work. And then think about all the things that you can appreciate about the dishes being done. So it's really going into this place of appreciation. Like, I appreciate my beautiful clean kitchen. I appreciate that there's dishes clean when everybody needs a glass or a plate or whatever. I appreciate myself for following through on a task. I appreciate myself for intentionally getting into alignment with this should. You know, all of those things. You can kind of make this mental list. You can write it down if that helps. You can do all of these things and sort of like intentionally get yourself into alignment for that task. And another way, like another possibility, or maybe this is in addition to those things I just said about intentionally aligning with it, put on some music and offer yourself a little bit of a distraction. Like, have a little quick dance party while you're doing the dishes. It'll kind of distract you a little bit and help make that should come from a more aligned place, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I hope that this is helpful in understanding the cost of those shoulds and what you can do instead, because just pushing through life, like head down, white knuckling it through life and just forcing through those shoulds on a regular basis is exhausting. It's exhausting, and it's holding you back. It's like walking through life with a 500-ton anchor tied to your waist. Like, you're not, it's almost impossible to move. It's paralyzing, it's stifling, and it's one of the main reasons that a lot of us stay in that same shit different day cycle, because we're shooting our way through rather than getting ourselves into alignment and acting from a place of soul and passion and self-love and that deep joyful place that we come from when we take time to connect with our soul, live from our soul, create with soul. Like, that's it. That's the work first, and then the rest of the tasks just don't seem so, they are not so costly and overwhelming. So if you have questions, comments, if you watch me on the replay, please let me know. I will come back and answer any questions that you have. And if there are other things that you want me to sort of riff on here in the group, I would love to do that. So let me know what else you want to hear about. Let me know what questions you have. Let me know how you feel about this. Like, kind of letting go of the shoulds and not sort of spending good money after bad, if you will, on the shoulds, or good energy after bad on the shoulds, because it's huge. It's super important. Okay, that's it. I love you. I will see you later. Bye.